Today I'm making some biscuits for a friend, and I'm using this particular flour, spelt, which is slightly more sticky. It's got a different feel to it, but they are not able to eat the ordinary biscuits. I've also taken some sugar. Normally I use 60 grams of sugar. I've reduced it to 50 grams because I have some sweetened fruit here, cranberries, which are delightful additions to these particular biscuits. I have some chocolate, white chocolate, and I have 120 grams and the usual butter of 120 grams as well. So I'm going to use these ingredients, make my biscuits, put them on here, put them in the oven. And the whole thing is really fast. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my sugar and my butter. And you could use margarine, but it won't taste the same. And they are for a friend, and it is a luxury. And if you're going to the trouble of making biscuits, I just feel they should be luxurious. Just roughly, nothing complicated. Now I'm taking my spelt and I'm going to add that in there. Now I do need to chop these just a little bit because they're whole ones. The whole ones actually seem to have a better flavour, so I buy them whole and roughly chop them, not asking you to mince them into tiny morsels, which you can buy. But I want to have little bitey bits, so they have something to chew on, which is rather nice. The sweetener on these is sugar, and that makes up for the little bit of a reduction in the sugar quantity. I'm going to add my egg and just break the yolk a little bit. The machine is very good, it does everything for you. I'm going to add these in. And this is a bar of white chocolate type chocolate. You can buy the little chips, but I find they're quite expensive and they don't taste nearly so good. And I want little chunks, so I roughly chop them. It doesn't take very long. The chocolate then is of better quality, I find, and it's a lot cheaper, but it takes a couple of minutes, that's all. If your chocolate doesn't cut into sort of brittle pieces, it's because it's too warm. Just stand it in the fridge before you use it. This is actually room temperature, but it has been stored in a cold room, so it was fine. You'll find the machine will break it up a little bit for you, which is why I add it at the very, very end. Now, if you just have a look, you'll see that the machine has helped break it up into little bits beyond what I chopped. So we've got some very small little bits you can see in the bottom. You've got a different variety of sizes, and that just makes it very nice indeed. I'm just going to pop that in. There's a couple of bits left behind, and there's my stick. Spoon really, isn't it? And there you are. Pop that on. Now watch. That was so easy, wasn't it? Now you've got a very nice little mixture there. Now, if you have made a hot mixture, because maybe your machine produces more heat, maybe it was a hotter day where you live, just pop the thing into the fridge. But I don't think we need to. But it's all right, isn't it? Now, what I'm going to do is, the idea is that we just take a little bit of mixture, squeeze them a little bit and pop them down. And as you can see, they are quite thick. Just compress them a little bit. And they're all going to be different sizes and shapes. A beautiful rustic homemade look that you just simply can't buy. And they look so good. Okay, you've made them into an interesting shape and you just lay them down one after another. These will be chewy, they will be delicate, and they will have the creaminess of the milk chocolate, but they've also got, you're trying to get them all roughly the same size, and you won't be able to press them very far because the lumps of chocolate will push your fingers back. So you won't end up with little flat things, I promise. These are going to be gorgeous. The cranberry gives it a slight acid bite, which is such a nice thing to do. So they're not just sweet and sticky. And the milk chocolate makes such a change for a chocolate cookie, doesn't it? I'm going to take that piece out because there's rather a lot of it in there. And this is for a friend. Friends like homemade presents because they only get them from friends. Some bites you want to have lots of chocolate. Some bites you want to have the squidginess of the fruit. But really and truly, you want them all to be different. This mixture doesn't need to be rolled because it's a high butter content. If it's a high fat content, it will spread. Now I'm going to take this and make it into two because now you could have made them into smaller, but thinking about the lady I'm giving them to and her husband, I think they would appreciate them more like this. Now I've got this little spatula, which I'm very fond of. And the thing about spatulas is you can get the last out. And whilst this looks a silly, time-wasting thing, you've got to get it out anyway when you wash up. So you might just as well eat it. Now, we're going to be cooking it on 140 degrees centigrade, which for a cookie is quite a low temperature. The reason for that is that we really don't want to scorch our fruit or anything else. These are thick, they have to cook through, so we're going to put it in on a lower temperature like that. That looks about the same size, doesn't it? I think they look nice already, don't you? The reason that it's such a yellow butter is because that is the butter that we particularly like to buy. I've never seen it anywhere else. It's just, we found it in northern Spain and it's delicious. Now, this is 150 and I'm going to now turn it down to 145. The reason I put it on slightly higher when I put it in is because I always think I lose a bit of heat. Also, the tray is cold, so that helps stabilize the temperature all the way through the cooking. And there you are. That was very easy to make, and they'll be very nice to eat. And I'll come back when they're done and show them to you. It's been 16 minutes. Now, we just let them sit for a minute and the butter will go back in. This obviously is because the spelt doesn't absorb the butter so readily as the wheat flour. But I believe they'll just soak it back up. Yes, look, it's happening. the pools are going back in now. You see, that one's just gone. So you will still get your lovely melt in the mouth consistency. Give it 1 minute and then we'll slide them off the paper. Okay? And you can see. I'm going to turn this one over and you will see. You see? Those little pieces will be chewy. You've got, your chocolate will have caramelized. You will enjoy these, I promise. And round the edge you've got a bit of crunch. You've got chew in the middle. These will be really nice. Isn't that absolutely divine to give to a friend?